Hey guys, came for 15. Joined by my uncle Daryl, back with some more NFL predictions. Now we're recording this Monday, so this is before the Lions 49ers game, but realistically, that game means nothing because the highlight matchup for the Lions is going to be next week. So, regardless, we gave our predictions for that game last week. We said the Lions should win this game. Regardless, we're ready for next week, but man, was week 17 just it was just insane with a bunch of like crap that was going on. The Giants fumble the first pick. They go from first to now fourth pick, and they basically lost their door and maybe even Cam Ward. Um,
You
yeah,
think they really wanted Cam Ward? I'm not really impressed with Cam Ward. I didn't see anything in him, especially in the last two games, to tell me that he's a franchise quarterback.
well, if
Yeah,
you're
I could be wrong, but
if you're telling me you're pairing up a young quarterback with at least an offensive-minded coach if they keep Dabble, then you got to have some hope there.
yeah, but I
I guess
would
I
think
looked
he would
into
have
it. I
wanted.
guess I guess Giants fans are like, see, this is why Giants don't want black quarterbacks. They'll win meaningless games to avoid the black quarterback. I'm like, what's going on over there?
You actually had someone actually went on record and saying that.
I
I
saw
mean,
it
I'm
all
pretty sure it
over.
was good.
I saw all over Twitter. Giants fans are all pissed and like, see, they don't want no black quarterback. I'm like, damn. So I remember like years ago, we were talking about how the Bears don't want to draft the black quarterback, and then they ended up drafting
Well,
Justin Fields.
they last experience with with a couple black quarterbacks didn't really
Yeah.
pan out so well. So I get it, but I mean, if the guy can throw, the guy can throw. And for me, the best pure passer in the draft right now is Shador Sanders. I mean, you can't really. I don't. Now I'm not gonna say he's a can't miss prospect. I'm not gonna go that far.
Yeah.
But just like with any young quarterback, man, he needs guidance. He needs someone that can groom him. He needs a steady organization. I hope y'all hear me, Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
You know, he's gotta make sure that they got the right people around him so they can groom him properly. So we'll see. I don't right now. I don't think the Giants got that,
Yeah.
but who knows?
Yeah. But very eventful week of NFL football for the Christmas and post-Christmas holidays. As we're getting basically to the new year with the last week of the season. We'll talk about some game recaps in terms of some games that were pretty big, and then we'll obviously give our predictions for week 18. The Christmas Day games, they were obviously, if you want to say it's a snooze fest, I guess you can say the case. Now record numbers, the ratings were very big. So LeBron can talk about Christmas as the NBA game. And now listen,
Oh, that's
the NBA had a great games on Christmas. They did. But listen, you look at the NFL ratings, like that tells you all that needs to know.
He had to say it because he know what the truth is. Now, granted, yeah, the games were absolute snooze fest. I mean, come on now. Christmas Day and all you can manufacture Houston Texans is 2 points. That is embarrassing.
Well, we
Embarrassing.
did say their injuries have hampered them so dang much that they're
Yeah,
inactive.
come on, man. 2 points.
I know, I
Ugh,
know. But they've had a
I don't
falling from
know.
grace. CJ Stroud,
two
get in the
points.
lab. You might want to stop going on these podcasts and proclaiming yourself as a top five quarterback already when you only have one season.
2 points.
Chiefs
That's all I
basically,
gotta say. 2 points.
yeah, Chiefs basically dominated the Steelers. There was times the Steelers had a chance to like get in the game, but then you had Russell Wilson turning the ball over.
Yep.
I know, like
And we're talking
they
and,
were
and
driving.
we're talking for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Russell has not been stellar as a quarterback.
yeah.
So, you know, is that I mean, is it play calling? Is it the fact that, he's just running into a really hard part of the schedule? Is it Mike Tomlin? I mean, who knows what it could be? I know a part of that was the fact that Pickens was not there, and he came back for the Christmas Day game. He looked good, but
Yeah.
yeah, they and now, dude, they got the Bengals, man.
Yeah, the Bengals team
I
that
mean, they're in the playoffs. They're in. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, they're
yeah.
in, but I
Yeah, they
mean,
would
they
have to
still got
win.
a shot at the division too.
No, they're done.
I thought if they, oh yeah, that's right. They're done. You're right. Because and then on top of that, Baltimore's gonna win anyway.
Yeah, they got to play Cleveland with Dorian Thompson
Yeah,
Robinson playing, and
yeah, they gonna win.
if
You
the
know,
Miami Dolphins with a backup quarterback could beat, not just beat, blow out Cleveland, I think, unless the Ravens sit their starters, but I think the Ravens are going to play their starters for seeding purposes because they don't want to drop to that 4th seed. They want to keep the 3
oh,
seed lead.
yeah. Well, I
Um,
don't think they will because the Texans are horrible, and they
yeah,
got the division already. So I mean, the
yeah,
Texans got that fourth seed.
yeah,
So I think the Ravens are already locked in at 3.
yeah,
So there's nowhere they can go. So yeah, I would imagine they'd probably come with the backup quarterback,
yeah,
just to you know, rest some guys. Because I mean, it's a meaningless game for them.
yeah,
But they still should be Cleveland.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steelers have already clinched a playoff berth, but with the fact that they
Yep.
haven't been looking good as of late, they look like they potentially could be a first round exit based on who they play.
Yep.
So there's that. They're probably gonna have to win next week because they want to probably force the Bengals out of the playoffs for good, and then on top of it, for seeding purposes, just in case they do lose.
Man, Joe
So
Burrow, dude, man, that I would hate, I would really hate to see a playoff and this dude is not there. I mean, the Bengals is such a great watch. I was watching that game and
offensively, they are defensively.
well, but at the same time, and you are right. I mean, the offensively, defensively, they were piss poor. The kicker missed field goals. The kicker missed extra point. I mean, the kicking game for the Bengals is highly questionable. But if the defense and the special teams can come together, man, Cincinnati. Mm, mm, mm.
So yeah, Ravens Texans was a complete blowout. Only other things coming out of
Yeah,
that game was it might have locked up Lamar Jackson getting the Heisman MVP, and then only other
you
things we
think so?
talked. I said might have.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Lamar has earned his third MVP. Although I do think Saquon Barkley is going to give him a run for his money. He ran off over 2,000 yards. Um, Not granted, he's got a shot at Aaron Dickerson, but it's hollow because he gets one more game than Dickerson. But Barkley, don't sneeze on him.
And then the only other thing coming out of this game was the Beyonce Bowl, which I thought was good.
I like that. The halftime thing was actually pretty good. I
That was
mean,
Super Bowl level halftime show right there.
yeah, it was. It was actually a really good halftime show. I was really shocked to see her daughter dancing side by side with her. That was a really cool watch. So I gotta admit, I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I didn't think I was. Normally, these halftimes I don't
Yeah.
really get into them, but I did see the Rihanna one, and I did like that, and I actually did enjoy this one as well too. I thought
Yeah.
she made it something watchable for all genres.
Yep. In other games from last week, Chargers blew out the Patriots to clinch a playoff spot. So one season in, after mediocre seasons with Brandon Staley and the last coach, one season with Harbaugh, they make the playoffs. Good job, Chicago. At least if you just decided to give him an interview, maybe I'm not gonna get on that, but props to the Chargers. They turned it around. That's what Harbaugh does. He's a winner.
Listen, the most important person in an NFL locker room on an NFL field of play is the head coach. The head coach. It's the reason why the Chiefs are 15-1 with all of their issues. It's the reason why the NFC North is gonna have what, 3 teams with 12 wins?
Yeah.
Because the Packers will beat the Bears. It's the reason why you have the Rams and the Chargers in the playoffs. I mean, you gotta get I don't understand why the Bears keep missing on this. I can't understand it. Well, I do understand. It's just McCaskey.
Yeah.
Right. You got to get a really good. It's the most important. That's the most important person in the NFL locker room. That head coach. You can't miss on that.
Yeah, so props to the Chargers.
Yep.
Got to give
Yep.
respect where respect's due. They usually crumble, but this year they didn't crumble. And everything's
Yep.
be interesting to see who they play in the first round of the playoffs, but we'll see.
Right now,
Oh,
aren't they playing? What aren't right now? Who they're playing? It's that six versus the third, right?
I think so.
Because I think the number one team gets the bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
So
16 will play the third, the seventh will play the second, and then the 4 and 5 play each other.
so it'd be a rematch of Monday Night Football a few weeks ago, Ravens
So
at Chargers, but it'll be at Ravens though.
the Chargers I thought Chargers was sixth.
Chargers are six. You
That's
said
right. Six will play two.
oh, six plays two?
Oh no, you're right. Six plays three.
Yeah. So
You're right. So
then they would be playing the
they'll
Ravens.
play Baltimore, and Houston will probably get a home game against whoever's fifth, which will
Houston
be the
Steelers.
Steelers. So I think the Steelers are going to get a break because they can beat Houston,
Yep.
and the Bills will probably blow out whoever coming in seventh.
Well, it would either be the Bengals or the Broncos.
I would love to see the man. Well, if it's the Bengals, man, I think the Bengals is the one team of those bottom three that can come into your building and beat you because of Burrow. If that defense can just give you anything,
Hell, or hell, in a long also the Dolphins because they're still alive as well.
that's true. They are. They are.
Talking about Broncos and Bengals, that game was crazy. I saw basically the mid to late fourth quarter, and then all the overtime period. Realistically, this game should have never been got into overtime. If the
That's
Bengals
true.
had just handled the situation correctly, and this is just the first of the other coaching mishaps we got last week, because I really want to talk about what Raheem Morris did. He had a complete Eberflus moment right then and there. These coaches don't know what they're truly doing. Zach Taylor had a complete blunder in the game. So the game's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yep. Yep.
Bo Nix ends up throwing an interception, an untimely interception, right? So it gets the Broncos basically in a tie game, or Broncos, the Bengals in a tie game to basically ice the game, win the game, and basically keep their playoff hopes alive. Well, they're basically killing clock, doing everything they can to get in. Joe Burrow's throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and everything. And then they're basically
Mike
near the goal.
Gesicki too. Don't forget Gesicki.
Oh, yeah, Gesicki was killing him too.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Chase, so they're on the goal line. Chase Brown gets a run, and I'm just like, bro, get down. You don't want to score now. And he takes the most awkward slide as he's about to get into the end zone. I'm like, dude, just slide down. He basically hurt himself, so he potentially could not be active for this upcoming week because of that stupid stunt. So because of him getting injured, he tried to get himself to get up and get up to get into the huddle or maybe even walk off the field, but he couldn't do that. So you had to call an injury timeout. It stopped the clock. If he had gotten up, the clock keeps running. The Broncos can't really do much of anything. So then after the injury timeout, I'm just watching the game. I'm like, okay, it's simple. Just take the freaking knee. And if the Broncos call a timeout, you take another knee, right? You just kill as much clock. You don't leave them much clock for the Broncos to go down the field and get another touchdown or a field goal, right?
Yep.
These idiots decide to do straight up QB sneak and they get in the end zone. And I'm just like, at that point, it was 1:25 left on the clock. I'm like, that's too much time left. They're going to go right down the field and score. And lo and behold.
And keep in mind now, Bo Nix is a rookie.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, during these important games right there, granted, Sean Payton may be a big of a for what he did to Russell Wilson, but the dude he knows how to call a football game. And look at what he did with this rookie quarterback in a minute 25.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the Bengals defense is horrific. We'll just go ahead and say that. But it was a lot of blunders, not only on that drive, but also in the overtime as well, too, on both sides of the ball.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it was just, and it just kept going back and forth. Bengals missed the kick. The Broncos had the ball, and all they had to do was just run out the clock and force the tie, and they are good. But no, there was one play, and I think they actually dropped Nick's back to pass.
They basically dropped
Right.
him back to pass every time in overtime.
And I'm just like, okay, not granted, I just gave Sean Payton a lot of credit, but right there and then I'm like, dude, what are you doing? The clock is the enemy. Run that thing down. Just run it down. All you needed was the first down.
Yeah.
But I think on third down, it was like 3rd and 4. He winds up trying to pass. Just completely went over my head. And it just kept going back and forth. York missed the kick.
And
just
so back regulation, they go all the way down the field.
Yeah.
Bo Nix it's 4th down. He just throws up a prayer. Marvin Mims double coverage just comes down on it. Why the Bengals defenders just didn't I don't know how you let that happen. Double cover and you let one right receiver come up and go grab it. I don't understand that. So that happens, and I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, I cannot believe they just actually let these dudes just go down the field and score. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. They go to overtime. Bengals get it first. They go 3 and out. Broncos get it back. I'm like, okay, Broncos probably gonna win this game now. They go 3 and out.
They go 3 and out too.
Bengals get the ball back. They go literally due to one big play, I think from Jamar Chase. They get basically in the red zone area. They run about 2 more plays. And I'm like, okay, run one more play and, kick the field goal and win the game. Zach Taylor's doing his best Eberflus impression. Kick it on 3rd down, guys. Let's win this game. This man, Cade York, he doinked it. Oh my God. This is why you just use all your downs, get as much extra yards as you can, because it's the same exact stuff we saw in the Bears game against the Green Bay Packers. He wanted to kick it early, and it got blocked because of it, because you didn't want to get close.
And keep in mind, this kicker has never really been in this situation before. They're on the right hash, and he doinked it on the left upright. So, I mean, that ball just went completely across. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, what did you see? What did you see to make that kick? And I'm like, oh, Zach Taylor, you can't let this dude kick another one. You cannot. There is under no circumstances. You got probably the best quarterback in the league while in the pocket. Just ride or die with your dude. You can't let this guy kick again, because he's shell shocked. He was literally done, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And it turned out the way he wanted it to, because I mean, he probably looked at Burrow and was like, Burrow, all right, dog, you just going to have to do this, man, because the defense ain't doing nothing. The special teams is definitely not doing anything. This kicker, I mean, he's gone.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take care of this.
So at that point, I'm like, Broncos going to win this game now. You have to take advantage of that. But then they go 3 and out again, and I'm like, bruh, you got no better play calls than this?
Yep.
Bengals get the ball back, and it was just basically Burrow to Jamar, and that's what won them the game.
And T. Higgins was amazing. There was a 3rd down. He went to T. Higgins, and I mean, for the most part, from where I sit, this was really T. Higgins' coming out party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game alone is like T. Higgins just see, this is why you need to pay me. But will the Bengals pay him? There's too much money that's going to be locked up, because they still got to pay Chase.
Yeah. I mean, they've already locked up Burrow. You got to lock up his number 1 target, and unfortunately,
T. Higgins probably be a casualty where he is to go somewhere.
Higgins is going to be a casualty. I mean, they do got Jermaine Burton, who's a decent wide receiver, Roll Tide, but I mean, Higgins is probably going to wind up being the odd man out.
Yeah. So, but the Bengals winning this game, they keep their playoff hopes alive. They basically need outside help. They need the Dolphins to essentially lose, and then they essentially need the Broncos to lose in Kansas City
to lose.
more than likely the backups. So they got to trust
The
Carson
backups.
Wentz to beat a Broncos team that's going all out to win. Now, Kansas
Yeah.
City is in Kansas City, but
Yep.
I don't know. This is going to get things so interesting. So essentially, and this is the problem. If the Bengals had just taken care of business early in the season and they won games that they needed to win, they never would need to rely on situations where you have to hope a backup, basically the practice squad team coming in and trying to save your season.
Correct.
But
Kansas City win this one with second and third stringers. I gotta admit, I mean, it's a lock. Andy Reid, coach of the year for sure.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
obviously Kansas
yeah,
City's they got to make the decision like, do we just go with the favor of having our division rival in the playoffs and maybe potentially facing them? Or do we want to potentially see Cincinnati and them on fire? And if we in KC, well, I don't know if we like those chances. So it's kind of like, what do you think is the better option?
well, for me, I gotta admit, you gotta rest. You gotta rest your guys.
Yeah.
You do. Travis Kelce has had, for me, an average year. They've had injuries to Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Pacheco, even Patrick Mahomes. So you got to make sure these guys are rested and ready because, again, they got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
So I think even in the playoffs, in a playoff setting, if Denver comes in, they can beat them.
Yeah.
You know, if now Joe Burrow comes in, I mean, that is something totally different.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to play just to make sure that Burrow doesn't get in.
Yeah. And then the last game in that Saturday slate was Cardinals at Rams. Cardinals had a chance to win late, but Kyler Murray, you can say, threw the
Yep.
ball a little bit too early to Trey McBride. Obviously, by that, it
Yep.
gets deflected. Rams get an interception and escape by the skin of their teeth because if they had lost that game, that would have affected
Yep.
them division race wise, which would have made basically next week's game against the Seattle Seahawks a game for the division. But because of the Commanders'
Hmm.
win, the Rams win the NFC West, so props to them. You know, they looked like they weren't going to do much of anything. They looked like they arguably might have been the worst team in the NFC West at the start of the year, but they got the guys back
Yep.
from injuries. Their defense turned on at the right time and they secured the division.
Yep.
And props to them.
Yep. And the only spot in the NFC now is just Tampa Bay, either winning or losing the division. So
Yep.
Tampa Bay's got to win, and Atlanta's got to win. And if Tampa Bay loses, Atlanta wins, then
Yeah.
Tampa's out. So that's really the only drama that I can see in the NFC coming up. But
Lions, Vikings for the seed though. That's another drama point too.
oh yeah, I watched the Green Bay Vikings game, and Green Bay look. I mean, the Vikings look like they ready. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's gonna be a good one. So we'll see. Um, but Detroit's got to handle business
Yeah.
against San Francisco. I don't doubt that they will. I'm
Well, it
pretty
doesn't
sure
matter.
that
It
they
doesn't matter in their case if they win or lose because it's going to be up for division title next week.
no, they're both tied.
Yeah,
But
they're both
I
tied,
mean, I
but
see what you're
Detroit
saying.
holds the
I see what you're saying.
tiebreaker.
If San Francisco does happen to win, okay, and then that puts Detroit in a position whereas, yeah, they gotta beat Detroit, So, but I want to see them both going in at 14-2. That to me, that's some drama you can't beat. So I'm just hoping that the NFL don't change the schedule and make that one of them Monday night, you know.
It's already confirmed Sunday night next week. You got to stay up for that game now.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'll probably have to go to bed early and wake up right before the game. Miss all the week 18 games just for this one, you know.
Bills locked up the number 2 seed by absolutely dominating the Jets. There's that.
The Jets season was over 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buccaneers, they ended up, taking place back in first place in the NFC South. For them
Yep.
to lock up the division, they need to beat the Saints next week, which, as of late, they typically struggle against the Saints, but that was really technically under Tom Brady's watch. But
Yeah.
regardless, they still need to win next week, and they gotta hope
They
that
they
Atlanta,
should handle it.
yeah,
Yeah, they should handle their business. Who does Atlanta have? Is it
Atlanta
the Panthers?
has,
Is it the Panthers?
yeah, the Atlanta has the Panthers. I think the
Yeah.
Buccaneers
So
just got to win, and it doesn't matter what the Falcons do.
yeah, I gotta admit they win, they're in. And you know, and if I'm correct, the early game is the Falcons, if I'm correct. And I think the Tampa's got the 10:30 p.m. game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raiders, they ended up beating the Saints fairly easily. That's going to knock them down in the draft. But props
Yeah.
to the tight end. Crap, how
Brock
did
Bowers.
Mark Bowers set like
Yeah.
records with them? So good on him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I'm gonna be
Eagles, they
looking for
locked
him.
up.
I'm gonna be looking for him in my fantasy league next year. I gotta admit,
Yeah, he's doing this with like
I
no
need,
quarterbacks over there.
yeah, I need pass catchers, so he might be my first pick because I get to hold my running backs, which are keepers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Eagles, they basically dominated the Cowboys. I didn't expect them to dominate the Cowboys like that, but
yes, I did. I did. Hey,
they lock up the 3 seed. So they're
that
locked up with the 3 seed. I think Packer fans were obviously upset that the Falcons ended up losing because basically it sets up
who's the 2 seed?
the 2 seed. It's
Yeah,
gonna. Oh wait, no, they
no,
are gonna be the 2 seed. They're gonna Philadelphia
Philadelphia's
is
the
gonna be the
two
2 seed.
seed.
My
The
bad.
loser of Vikings Lions, they go to the 5th seed.
Yep. So there's that. Um, yeah, that's the thing. Saquon Barkley made history, rushing over 2,000 yards in a season. Next week he
Yeah.
has a chance to break Eric Dickerson's record. We'll see if he
Yeah, they
does
gotta
that.
put an asterisk. They gotta put an asterisk on that, man, because Dickerson did it in 16 games, and here it is. Barkley gets 17. I like Saquon Barkley a lot, but I don't think they should go all out because he got the extra game, whereas Dickerson didn't. So, I mean, from one standpoint, you can say, yeah, from a yardage standpoint, he got it, but there's another standpoint that says, hey, he got it, but he got it in one extra game. So.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about this game too. I watched the tail end of this game. Colts at Giants. The Giants completely mess up beyond belief and cost themselves the first overall pick. They would have locked themselves into the first pick if they just had lost to the Colts. They beat the Colts with Joe Flacco starting the quarterback. Joe, what's his face? Drew Lock, arguably you could say that is showed up. And the Giants were just like, we're winning. And then you have all the players saying, this is for the fans. This win was for the fans. And the fans in the comment section of these players saying, no, it wasn't. We hate
You
you.
blithering idiots.
Oh, man. Look,
And they scored 45 points.
I know that's the worst part. They could have did this entire season, and it's like they chose a perfect time. Like the one time they actually need to lose, they win. So legitimately, they need so much outside help. They need the teams ahead of them to all win, and they lose next week against the Eagles to get back in first place. They're basically out of the top three because
Yeah, right now, New England was it New England, Tennessee, and Cleveland. They're right now, yeah, 1, 2, and 3 at 3 and 13. And right now, Cleveland is going to lose next week
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
The
New
question is,
England,
will they
for
take
sure.
a quarterback to just draft and be like, we need a replacement for Deshaun because he ain't doing it for us?
Cleveland, yes. New England, I
They're
doubt
either
it.
they're either going to take Travis
I think
Hunter or they're going to trade back to a team that wants a quarterback. Now, the thing that could be shocking is, do the Raiders be like, you know what, this year we're trading all the way up to go get Shador?
Well, I gotta admit, I'm just, as far as New England's concerned, I'd say they will go with Travis Hunter because he's also a pass catcher too.
Yeah.
and they need pass catchers.
Yep. Tennessee, you can make the argument they definitely go on for a
Yeah,
quarterback.
they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
So they got to make their decision. Do they want Cam Ward or do they want Shador? It's funny because Shador posted like an image of him with Giants cleats. And somebody's like, so what is he going to do with those cleats now?
Now, keep in mind, now there could be a situation in which he's doing all of that, even though, regardless of the Giants' draft position, he can just simply say, "Hey, you know what? Hey, if you guys draft me before the Giants do, I ain't coming."
Yeah.
So he could be playing that. He could be playing that angle.
Yeah. But I just found it so hilarious. I'm like, the Giants really messed up the first overall pick. I can't believe it.
Yeah, who does that?
Yeah.
Yeah, who does that?
At some point,
Even the Bears didn't mess up the first overall pick.
yeah, because we just literally rested our dudes that last game and we secured it all. And even though we had outside help that one year, but regardless,
Well, yeah, that's true. But even the Bears didn't mess it up.
yeah, you would think like Dabble, like just run the ball like every single drive and go 3-and-out.
I do. Why are you starting Malik Neighbors?
Yeah.
I would have just sat him on the side.
So there's that. On the other end, Colts fans are very pissed off that they lost to this team because by them losing, that kicked them out of the playoffs. I know Pat
Well, they
McAfee.
wasn't.
I know they weren't going to
hope
make the playoffs, but
getting in was
still.
to win the division anyway. It's not like they were going to actually do anything. I mean,
Well, they still had a shot to make a wild card.
mathematically, yes, they were in. But really, did anyone want to see the Colts in the playoffs?
No, but
The only way they were going to get in is if, like, let's just say the Dolphins collapse, the Broncos collapse. That's the only way they were going to get in.
That's the hope.
That was the hope, that somebody else's collapse, that someone else collapse.
Yeah, but you got to, at the end of the day, you got to take care of your own business, and they didn't.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But unfortunately, when you go to New York and you give up 45 points to the worst team in the football in the league.
Yeah, you don't deserve to make the playoffs.
You don't deserve it. No.
The Colts fans are obviously upset. They're upset, obviously, at Jim Irsay. That's another notorious bad owner in NFL. They're mad at the coach. They're mad at the players. Heck, Pat McAfee, he made a huge long thread about like the way he talked. I'm like, Jesus, you sound like you talking about the Colts like they're the Bears. I'm like, good God.
Yeah. They need to live in Chicago for a year.
Well, they right next door.
Well, they need to live in Chicago for a year. Just go ahead and cross the border. Come on in, drive that little 3 hours into Chicago and stay a year. And you will find out that the job you got right now is cushy compared to what you could be having in Chicago.
And then Colts going into next offseason, they have a lot of questions, especially at the quarterback position. Is Anthony Richardson that dude? Because remember, a few weeks ago, he literally, like, you can say quit on the team and just didn't play.
Yep.
And then he hasn't really been showing promise in his second year. He's kind of been up and down, up and down. So they might have to look into maybe one of these quarterbacks in next year's draft, or maybe the quarterback draft, of next year. But
maybe
they're not looking good. They just haven't gotten right.
Receiver. They got a decent wide receiving core. Wide receiving core. They got a stud at running back.
Yeah.
They got a solid offensive line. Defense is okay.
There's some offensive line that are actually free agents. I know Ryan Kelly, their center, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
All right, if I'm the Bears, I'm targeting.
All right, now Chicago, y'all listening? Ryan Kelly is a free agent.
He's right next door.
He's
paying whatever he wants.
Like I say, Indianapolis is only a 3-hour drive. Go get him.
Yeah. Dolphins at Browns. Browns lose. Dolphins win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Blah 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 blah. Packers Vikings. This game was really dang good. Vikings, like the first matchup, were dominating the Packers. Like fourth quarter, they held Jordan Love to like 45 yards passing until they started basically playing prevent defense, and the Packers started like hurrying up to get the Vikings defense a little bit tired. Also, albeit the Vikings did win, Sam Darnold had an amazing game yesterday. You obviously people are gonna be like, okay, so what do they do with JJ McCarthy? Do they just keep him sitting? Maybe do they entertain potentially trading him away and just signing
Mm-mm.
Sam Darnold long term? I don't know
No.
what that's gonna think. I feel like this game didn't need to be as close as it needed to be. The Vikings kicker missed like two kicks,
Yeah.
that basically kept the Packers in the game. And if the Packers had scored more early on in the game, like there was two instances, like he missed like one kick early in the first half.
Yep.
Um, he would have missed another one before halftime, but the Packers were offside, so they made him
Sides.
basically re-kick, and he had to
Correct.
re-kick two more times because
Correct.
Matt LaFleur kept not only crying like a dang, he's a good coach, but my God, does he cry like a little spoiled brat? Like, holy hell, he was like complaining and crying to the referees about the offsides call. I'm like, dude, shut up. Anyways, he calls a timeout to try to ice him, but he makes it before halftime, right? They had a chance. They were driving. They were still up like 27-10. And it's like, okay,
Yep.
you kick the field goal. It's 30-10. Game's basically over, despite if the, you
No, I
know,
was no. The final score was 27-25.
yeah.
So I think that what
But
you
at that
yeah,
point in time, it was
yeah.
27. If they had kicked the field goal, it made it 30-10.
Okay, would have made it 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Their kicker ended up doinking it off the freaking uprights. And then
Yeah.
that basically gave the Packers life. They just basically start playing the hurry up offense, wearing out that Vikings defense. And it comes down to a last critical drive for the Vikings to basically seal the game. Cam Akers makes an incredible catch because it looks like he's going to drop it right then and there. I'm like, trust me, as a Bear fan, if that was in the
Yeah.
Bears situation, the Bears running back would have dropped that, and then we would have to be punting the Packers, right?
Yeah.
But luckily, he held on. He leaned back. Game over. Vikings escape, and then they play next week to play the Lions for the number one overall seed and the NFC.
Overall seed. Yep. And for me, just like I said, the first half, and I think the announce team Matt actually made a great point of this, is that, and this is where Matt LaFleur comes in as a really great coach. He does make his second half adjustments, and Green Bay had an opportunity to win this game. He played the way he play called. Now, granted, Kevin O'Connell, he did make some good adjustment. He did a lot to get Justin Jefferson open in the second half, whereas they pretty much locked in on him in the first. So, I mean, it was just that it was definitely a playoff game,
Yeah.
and I just think that if there were maybe 2 more minutes left in the game, Green Bay would have pulled that out. They
Oh,
just ran out of time.
yeah. So there's that. The Bears passed from Kevin O'Connell. Didn't even give him an interview because Ryan Poles thought, let's go get Matt Eberflus. And
You think
he's
that was
going,
you think that was Ryan? You think that was Ryan Poles?
I don't care. The Bears didn't even give him an opportunity to interview or anything. So there's
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So yeah. We'll
But
be back talking the next week predictions. I also want to talk about the Falcons Commanders game because oh my God. I have a lot to say about that. Till then, we'll be back real quick.
yep. All right.
All right, back with the last of the last week. The Sunday night game, which had a lot of playoff implications, was Falcons versus Commanders in Washington. If the Falcons won, they basically go back up to be NFC South, league leaders right at that point for at least one more week. And then if the Commanders won, they basically clinch a playoff berth and they're going to go to the playoffs. This game was for all intents and purposes, in the first half, it was Falcons, and in the second half, it was Commanders. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Commanders could have ended the game, but they ended up getting a holding penalty that drew them back from scoring a touchdown. They had to kick a field goal to make it 24-17. And Michael Penix, earlier I was like, Michael Penix has sure as sucked in this game. But then I had to eat my crow because he just shows up on a very important drive where he goes all the way down the field and he scores the game tying touchdown to send the team into overtime. I'm like, okay, the Falcons actually gonna maybe win this game and have a chance. The game goes to overtime. Commanders get the ball. They find a way. They finally get a 3-and-out on the Commanders, right? So, no, it not. hold on, I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff. What the heck am I talking about? After they score the touchdown, they have enough time left for the Commanders to at least go down the field, get a field goal, right? And win the game.
Yeah.
So the Falcons get the stop. They get a 3-and-out. They got a lot of time still left. It was like around 50 seconds left, right? So they get the ball back. One of the first plays, Michael Penix throws to Darnell Mooney, and it's a completed pass. And I'm like, they actually gonna go and get into field goal range. I'm watching this game with my dad, mind you. Darnell Mooney gets tackled. I'm like, all right, call call a timeout, and then let's do with everything. Tick, 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 tick. If you
The
watch my Bears
ghost
recap,
of Matt Eberflus decided to show up in the body of Raheem Morris.
oh my god. I saw this happening live, and I'm just getting like, call a timeout, you idiot! What are you doing?
You heard it in the stands too. Listen to it. You'll hear a lot of folks saying call timeout.
I
But
I I can't believe he let off 20 to 25 seconds, run off the clock. Darnell Mooney got tackled with like 33 seconds left to go when he got
yeah,
tackled.
yeah.
They basically hurrying up, and they're left with like 12 seconds left in the freaking fourth quarter. And I'm just like, oh my God. The Falcons, Raheem Morris just did Matt Eberflus times two. And yet, there was always reports after these Eberflus blunders. Teams literally told and showed their teams on film, their players on film, these coaches all around the league said, this is not what we are going to do.
Correct.
And the Falcons, Raheem Morris, literally did the exact same thing Matt Eberflus did.
Yeah.
And basically, what happens is because they have so little time, and funny enough, and mind you, they had two timeouts. Funny enough, before the play clock ended up, going off, he then calls the timeout. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. They have to go to overtime. Washington gets the ball. They go all the way down the field. Jaden Daniels throws to Zach Ertz. Game over. Falcons are basically fighting for their playoff lives. They need the Saints to go into Tampa Bay and beat them. And at the same time, they got to beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
Now, you can't even trust the coach because what if the coach makes another blunder in the Panthers game next week?
Well, you just made the mention of trust. Man, do I honestly trust Tampa Bay? At home, yes. So I just I think the Falcons are done. I mean, they had their shot. I mean, the game that they spent losing while allowing Kirk Cousins to play did them in.
Yep.
So now that Penix is playing, you see that they got a little bit more bounce to their step, but it's just a little bit too little, too late. And I just can't fathom any scenario where New Orleans, with the backup quarterback,
Spencer Rattler.
backup running back, because I don't think Kamara's going to play.
Kamara's done for the season.
Yeah, he's already done. So
And
just
they're
can't.
tanking for higher draft pick seedings. Really.
Yeah, I can't fathom any scenario whereas New Orleans is just going to say, well, you know what? Hey, I think we can go up in here and win this game.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay is not going to take them lightly. They're going to be like, we're trying to win this division again.
Yeah, we're trying to win this division, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that this is absolute and final after the first quarter.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did with the Panthers. They're like, we're not letting the Panthers mess around and play around with us. We're going to take care of business.
We're going to take care of business. So, I mean, like I say, it's just, for me, it's just a wrap.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay will wind up winning the division. What would it be? 10-7, which will be good enough. They'll secure the fourth spot. And they'll probably wind up playing Detroit or Minnesota.
Yeah. I know Falcons fans, I saw all over TL. They are heated. Just as heated as we were when we saw Eberflus do the same thing in Washington, and especially the
Yep.
same thing with Detroit. They're already like, fire this guy already. And it's already bad
Yeah.
enough because before the end of the first half, he had a timeout blunder too, then as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And also, if you just want to just go back, I mean, the Falcons in the last, what, 6 or 7 games, I mean, they've been pretty piss poor.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and
I
you can lay that at the feet of Raheem Morris.
I do.
So,
He cost them the game. They would have won the game. They would.
yeah, and I mean, for the most part, he allowed Kirk Cousins to continue that piss poor play and just didn't snatch him up. I
Yeah,
mean,
like if I'm Arthur Blank and I'm looking at this, you see, like I just see Chicago just had that same issue with the coach. Now
mhm.
Raheem Moore is probably going to be on the hot seat going into next year because it's like, and Arthur
Of
Blank is an owner.
course,
Arthur Blank's an owner. He don't play. He
of course.
he went all in on this offseason so they could win and get to the
Of
play.
course. Of course. So, I mean, and for me, it's a little bit different than what's going on with Chicago because, I mean, you brought in an experienced quarterback with the hope of actually using this experienced quarterback to not only groom the next guy, but to make it to the playoffs with this guy. And right now, neither one of those is going to happen. So the only thing you can do is lay it at the feet of the head coach. Just like we said earlier today, the head coach is the most important piece on the NFL football team. And right now, Raheem Morris he's failed as a head coach, especially well, at least this year. I'm pretty sure that if I mean me, I would give him an opportunity to redeem himself.
Yeah.
But
Realistically, see, in my eyes, if you're having situational terrible awareness, I don't see
yeah.
how you can trust somebody again like that.
But at the same time, though, I can honestly see, you know, Raheem Morris getting released of duty,
Yep.
and
And guess what? He did the same thing like Eberflus always did in the press conferences. They asked him the question. So why did you not call a timeout there? And he's like, well, yeah, we could have called a timeout there, but we wanted to hurry the ball up and get the ball snapped as fast as we could and maybe get another playoff and then call the timeout. And I heard that. I'm like, fire him on the spot. These
yeah,
coaches are too ignorant. And I was telling
and,
my dad this because my dad was like, why are these coaches not doing these sensible things? I'm like, Dad, because these coaches think that they're in such a high position of power, they're getting paid all this money. They think we're smarter than what the fans or what the media can portray.
correct.
We know what we're doing. But in reality, no, you don't. You just
No,
freeze up and you just don't want to admit I effed up because you think,
yeah.
oh, that means the people up top are going to let me go because I messed up. No, they won't. If you come out and admit your mistake, as long as you don't do it again in a consecutive week or just
I was
again
about to say that. I was
on
about
a
to say that. It's
consistent
one thing.
basis.
It's one thing to admit your mistake, but at the same time, if these mistakes keep coming and coming and coming and coming, and you keep saying, "Well, you know that's on me," every week, "Oh, well, you know that's on me," eventually, yeah, you're going to be seen as incompetent. So, I get that part, but considering that Raheem Morris, and yeah, you said he had timeout issues earlier on as well too, but if he would have took this on the chin, maybe just maybe, he can probably get out of this. But I can honestly see Raheem Morris getting let go
After
and
this year.
Ben Johnson starts showing up on a lot of folks' interview list.
Yeah. Yeah. I made a tweet that said Matt Eberflus watching Raheem Morris not blow the second timeout and let 25 seconds run off the clock with a laughing gif from The Office.
Well, at least he did eventually call one.
Yeah. It got 32 likes and it's got 3.8K views.
I got it, but at the same time, though, at least Raheem Morris did call a timeout. It was what 10 seconds. But at least he called one. Eberflus just stood on the sideline with the deer in headlights, looking around, just saying, "What do I do? What do I do?" And then when it runs down to zero, he was like, "Oh, I guess I should have called the timeout. We had one left."
I know
That was Matt
Matt Eberflus was
Eberflus.
definitely laughing his ass off on his couch. He's like, he did the same thing I did.
No, he didn't. He called the timeout though.
Yeah, but too little, too late.
At least he called it.
That's true.
At
That's
least
true. Eberflus
he called it.
Eberflus still got the timeout in his pocket.
Yeah. We still lost the game with one of them 3 dots still lit.
Props to the Commanders.
Yeah.
They turned their whole operation around. Obviously, as much as I hate to admit it, they had a successful season. They got their head coach hire right. They got their offensive coordinator hire right.
Right.
Luckily enough, too, they got out of the doldrums of Dan Snyder being their freaking owner, and they got
That's correct.
basically the ownership group, which is residing in with the Dodgers.
And
Imagine
Jaden
Dodgers
Daniels
running
will
that.
probably win Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
It's for me, by him making the playoffs, regardless of whether Bo Nix makes it or not, it doesn't matter for me. I honestly think Jaden Daniels has been the best rookie in the league this year, and he should get recognized as such.
And before we get to obviously the Week 18 slate of games, this is the thing, and we'll talk about it in our freaking own Bears video. But this is
Yep.
legitimately when I see the Commanders win and they're making the playoffs and everything, it just pisses me off even more because it's like this is what the Bears should be at right now. But we wanted to bring back Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
We wanted to hire Shane Waldron. We wanted to get
Yep.
no offensive line help for your rookie quarterback.
Nope.
We didn't want to do anything. We should be what the freaking Commanders are right now, but no, we don't want to. And on top of it, too, just to double down on it, we had a chance to hire Dan Quinn as the head coach. He was a finalist, but we decided let's go with freaking Matt Eberflus. And we didn't want to go with Cliff Kingsbury either, because our head coach doesn't want his ego all hurt, because if the team ends up doing sucking like we did this year, well, then the fans will be like, had freaking Cliff Kingsbury be the interim head coach. Fire Eberflus, because egos got in the way of this entire operation. Everybody in that organization, players included, got their egos in the way, thinking that they're stuffed in its stink when they ain't proved nothing. I hope everything this year was a whole wake-up call to these guys to do the right thing and actually understand, until you guys start winning, don't proclaim things like you have arrived.
Is that what they're doing?
That's what they've been doing. Make it up to me next year when you play the Commanders in Washington again and beat them, and don't give up a stupid Hail Mary. And also, too, the Commanders are lucky as hell. They always win these lucky games because these teams can't get out of their own way. Anyways, I'm done my rant.
You got your auntie over here thinking we in church.
I'm done. That's how much the Bears have killed me this year. That's how much the Bears.
Yeah, I had my rant with you a couple weeks ago, so I'm. And then on top of it, it's official where McCaskey saying he wants polls to finally take over the search. So here we go. We got George doing it again. Polls probably went to George and be like, hey man, I don't answer the warrant. I'm supposed to answer to you. And I deserve another year. My contract is not up yet. So anyway.
Week 18. We have Saturday games. It's basically Hard Knocks on Saturday because it's all NFC North, AFC North teams.
Yep.
Browns at Ravens.
Yep. Ravens.
On the Ravens.
Move on.
Bengals at Steelers. Bengals have to win this game. Steelers, you probably should win this game to get some momentum going to the playoffs and also knock out your division rival.
Burrow's playing too good. The Steelers the Pittsburgh secondary is not playing well at all.
Yep.
But I honestly think that the Bengals will make enough plays to win this game. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals too. We'll see where that goes. Obviously, the only thing to watch out for is the Bengals defense going to show up when it needs most, and are they going to make Russell Wilson look competent?
True.
We'll see. Ah, yes. Finally, the end of the season that I've been finally waiting for, so I can talk about the real crap. Bears at Packers.
Packers.
I don't know why the Bears have yet to confirm Caleb Williams is not sitting out, but I guess he'll be playing, and he'll be making the league record for most sacks in a one season.
Packers
are basically playing for better seeding.
Yeah.
Bears can mess it up.
And beat the Packers.
But
the worst the worst the Packers can be is seventh, which they won't. I mean, they're pretty much locked into the sixth spot,
Yeah.
so they're not really going anywhere. Whether
So
they win or lose, they're locked into that sixth spot, so they may even tank too.
yeah,
But even still, I would prefer a tank. I would still pick a tanking Packers team over this current Bears team.
yeah. They just don't play with nothing else. This is what they got to. They're like, we're ready. One more week to Cancun, guys. Let's
Yep.
take it all in, guys.
Yep.
Your head coach don't care anymore. Your interim head coach
Yep.
don't care anymore. He's gone. You're already
Yep.
looking for the next. You got guys talking about what they want in the next coach. I'm done. And I'm
Yep.
having a whole freaking rant next week when this whole season freaking concludes because I'm sick of this crap. They got one more year with me to deal with. And then if they can't get it right next year, I am done with the Bears.
Yep.
Texans at Titans.
The Texans are already in. The Titans are playing, and I'm sure that the Texans really want to show that they're a better offense than what they showed on Christmas Day. So I'll go Texans here because the Titans are tanking.
Yep.
And granted, and we were talking about it over on text, even moving one spot is a positive
Yeah.
when you're talking about draft status. So I'm gonna go with the Texans. I just I doubt if it'll be a slobber knocker, but it'll probably be one of them 13-10 snooze fest.
Yeah. I'm going Texans. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm going for Titans to win this game.
Yeah, me too.
Panthers at Falcons.
Falcons.
I'm going to go Falcons to win this game. I
Yep.
want the Panthers to win, though.
Same here, but Falcons believe they got something to play for, so I think they'll win.
Saints at Buccaneers.
Buccaneers are gonna blast them.
Yep. I want obviously the Saints to win because that means that's one extra win that they get, and we don't have to drop in the thing. But
That's correct.
Buccaneers are gonna definitely gonna beat these dudes.
Yeah, Buccaneers should blast them probably about 3 touchdowns.
Bills, since they're locked into the number 2 seed, they're basically probably gonna just rest their starters. Mitch Trubisky will probably take the helm against Drake May and the Patriots. Had a god awful performance. Yet I'm seeing Dan Orlovsky talk about, oh well, Jerry May still looked really good, but he's over here trashing Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Which is stupid. I just think right now, you just got so many people that just wants their 15 seconds of fame. And I'm like, dude, really, y'all? Come on now. Just you're gonna bash the quarterback, but don't bash the organization or the coaching staff. I mean, that's just stupid. That's stupid.
You know, he
But
he, he is a former Lion, so of course when
yeah,
he was
of course,
trashing Bears.
yeah, of course, he's gonna do it. But even still, though, the Patriots right now have the number one seed, the number one pick in the NFL draft. Under no circumstances are they trying to win this game. You can forget it. I think they're gonna lose to keep that spot.
I would just start the third string quarterback and lock up the pick. Don't start Drake May. Don't start
Oh, yeah,
Jacoby Brissett.
lock up
Whoever the
the pick.
third, even if you have to call him up from the practice squad, I don't care.
Lock up the pick.
Now, if they do win, hey, I will take it because if the Bears lose,
Uh,
they will
Yep.
drop and we go up
That's correct.
because they
But we
beat us.
beat. But we.
Oh,
beat
actually,
the
no, it doesn't matter because
Patriots.
strength of schedule.
That's right. Where was it? 55%, something like that.
The strength of schedule for the New England Patriots is
No,
400.
for us, the Bears. The Bears are
Oh,
55%.
554. Their
Yeah.
strength of schedule is 469, so they would still finish ahead of us.
Yeah, right. So, and then on top, and like I said, they did beat us. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
No, strength of
Yeah, I
schedule
don't-
determines higher
yeah.
draft seeding.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that last week.
Yeah.
Bay of Pigs game, Jaguars at Colts.
Okay. The Jaguars are going to tank. The Colts are going to be pissed off because of what happened to them last week. So yeah, the Colts will win this game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They really ain't got nothing to play for. I mean, if they are going to play for, some type of improved draft position, they could.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams could come up in here tanking. I mean, we did talk about this during text.
Yeah.
And I think I originally thought that the Jaguars can actually pull this out, which is absolutely possible with the way they've been playing over the last, 3 to 4 weeks. But I think they're gonna tank all the way,
Yeah.
and the Colts will wind up getting this game.
Yeah. I would want the Jaguars to win because they would go 5-12, and if the Bears finish 4-13, we get the higher pick.
Get the higher pick.
Commanders at Cowboys.
Oh, Commanders right now are you say they're 11-6,
They're 11-5.
11-5, and well, the Packers are also 11-5.
Yeah, so it's for that. So
So
they're both 10 a.m. games. Well, my time. So
yeah,
they're the early slate. So
yeah, they're the 7 p.m. games for me. Um,
they're gonna probably play their starters because they want the higher seeding. They're gonna be
yeah, they're
watching
gonna
that.
want they're
If
gonna
they
want
see
that.
if they see that the Packers are clearly gonna be blowing out the freaking Bears, that's probably when they'll be like, all right, just sit Jaden, sit everybody. We know what we
Right,
got.
right. Because see, right now the third seed in the NFC will be in the NFC. Is it the Rams?
It might be the Rams. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, it'll be the Rams because the fourth seed is
Yeah,
going to
the
be Tampa Bay.
Rams are locked up as the third seed. So
Yeah, so that means
right now,
that's
as things are standing, right now Minnesota is currently locked in as the number one seed. Number two seed is Philadelphia.
correct.
Number three seed is the Rams. Right now, four seed is Tampa Bay, but if things go crazy, Atlanta could be the fourth seed. The fifth seed is Detroit. The sixth seed is Washington, and the seventh
Right.
seed is Green Bay.
Well, the 1 and 5 are going to be interchangeable between Minnesota and Detroit.
Yeah,
So it's that 6, 7 seed between Green Bay and the Commanders
yeah,
that's now interesting.
yeah.
So if both teams win, then obviously 6 is Green Bay, and the last seed will go to the Commanders.
Right
You
now
know, but
they have Washington higher because of division record. Washington's 3-2 in the division. Green Bay is 1-4 in the division. And also too, their
oh, you're
conference
talking about one
Commanders.
and four in the
So yeah, Green Bay in their division is 1-4, and then conference wise for NFC, they're 6-5, while Washington in division play is 3-2, but in conference play, they're 8-3.
That's right. Green Bay did get swept by Detroit and Minnesota, whereas that only win was Chicago. Yeah, so I get it, but given that, then they're locked in. All the Commanders got to do is win.
Win and obviously beat the Cowboys, which should be an easy task to do.
Should be an
Because
easy
I
task.
think,
So they should be able to keep that seventh. They should be able to keep that sixth seed. All they have to do is win,
yeah, and
because
I think they would
even
rather,
if even if they lose,
yeah,
and well, no, if they lose and Green Bay wins, and
yeah, Green
they
Bay
flip
wins and
flop,
they flip, and that
they
means
flip.
Washington would have to go to Philadelphia
Correct.
instead of LA.
So both of these, they're these are games to keep from playing Philadelphia. Because I gotta admit, I would much rather play the Rams than Philadelphia.
Yeah,
So whoever stays six will play the Rams, winnable game. And seventh, you're just gonna go ahead and go to
especially
Philly.
too, like because the Rams offense has kind of been slowing down a bit as of late too.
Correct, correct. So the Rams are very beatable. But and Tampa Bay, they just gonna get. I mean,
They're gonna
I
get
I
the
don't
Vikings or the Detroit.
I can't fathom any scenario that Tampa Bay is gonna go to um Detroit.
No,
Well, no,
no,
they're gonna have a home game.
they're gonna have the home game.
Detroit or Minnesota. Detroit or Minnesota. Um, they're gonna beat either one of them teams. I can't fathom it. I personally can't fathom, because I don't trust Tampa Bay,
Yeah, I know you,
but they
but
do play decent on the road. They do play decent at home.
yeah.
So, but so the
So
NFC North is pretty much all locked in. It's just a little wiggle room that may happen here, there, too, fro here, there, yard. But other than that, man, it's just you know it's going to be a really interesting slate of games between Minnesota and Detroit and what's going on with Washington and Green Bay.
Yep. Giants at Eagles. The Eagles should win this game, even with the
Eagle,
backups.
Eagles are already locked into the 2 seed, no matter what they do. Um, yeah, they're already locked into the 2 seed. So I would be shocked if they played their starters,
Yeah.
for more than a quarter.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't play them. I wouldn't
I
play
don't
them
want
at
to play them at
all.
all.
I wouldn't play them at all.
Now the question is, will the Giants continue to mess up their draft seeding and win a meaningless game?
Who knows, man? Philadelphia might tank so bad that the Giants actually get it done.
And for us Bear fans, they have a higher strength of schedule by a percentage of 3. They're 551 over 554.
Ah, oh, okay. I didn't know the Giants' schedule was that tough.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
This game's obviously, we thought it could have something to play for, but because the Commanders won, or win, Seahawks are basically now eliminated from playoff contention.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to call my boy, one of my coworkers, because he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. Surprisingly, he didn't
Yeah, I
talk a lot
got
of
it.
crap to me when they beat the Bears, but too bad they didn't make the playoffs, so they're going home just
I would
like
have been like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's beating the Bears. So, I
I
mean, it's
know.
not like y'all did anything special. That's probably why he didn't say anything because he know they didn't do anything special and they only
Oh,
put
he's
up six
like, yeah,
points.
he literally told me, he's like, how do you let us beat you? I'm like, dude, we suck. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we suck too.
No.
I'm like, man, please.
I mean, we have sucked for the last 12 games.
Yeah.
You all suck here every now and then. You have your win 3, lose 2, win 3, lose another 2.
But that's
You
Seattle
win.
sports. Seattle sports is the
Yeah.
definition of mediocrity. You think they're gonna freaking do something different? They don't. It's like the Seattle. It's like with the Seattle Mariners. They always get hyped up in the AL West. They always do these things, and then eventually these teams catch up to them in the AL West, whether it's the Astros or the Rangers, and then
Yeah.
the Mariners completely piss down their legs. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, I was really rooting for them that year. They won what 116 games in MLB.
What, in
So
like
I mean,
03?
I was really rooting for them that year. The fact that they didn't come out with any with a chip that year was disappointing.
Well, that's Seattle sports for you. They ain't got no Sonics
Mhm.
no more.
Look, we the ones we can't talk about anybody else's city sports. So I'm not even gonna try to.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna try to.
these
How
Seattle.
often? How often can you go into a conversation and you say, "Well, you know what? The best team in the city is the Chicago Cubs."
Well, when you look at the picture right now of all the Chicago sports, they probably are.
The Cubs are the best team. Cubs are the best team.
So there's that.
I think they were the only team in the city this past season that actually finished with a better 500 record.
Yeah. Dolphins at
And they were
Jets.
and they and they were borderline as well too.
Yeah. Dolphins at Jets. Dolphins playing for a playoff appearance. Jets. Well, okay.
Jets are playing for a draft pick. And there's talk that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. So yeah, I mean, draft pick ain't gonna help them out as long as they got that dude though.
Yeah. We'll see. It looks like Tyler Huntley's probably going to start. I don't know what the hell happened with Tua. Um, but he looked all right against the Cleveland Browns. But we'll see what the Dolphins do. They got to win to keep hopes of their season being alive. But we'll see.
It could be one of them filter pitter patters with the injury report just to show you one thing and give you another. But I'm not really buying it. That Tua's not gonna play.
Yeah. Oh, and next game. My bad. I said that the Broncos have to go to the Chiefs. It's actually Chiefs at Broncos.
Right, right. But either way it go, I think the Chiefs are going to tank it. I, yeah, when you got the best dude in the game, man, you don't put him out there for that. Man, and you can beat Denver in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't want to
I
take your
don't think
chances
it,
with Cincinnati.
yeah, you don't want to take any chances with Cincinnati because Cincinnati can come in your building and beat you, and they've proven that before.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is tank it, you know, go ahead and take it on the chin. Go 15-2. You'll still have the number one seed. You have Mahomes healthy. You have all your guys healthy. And fry that fish.
Yeah. Chargers at Raiders.
Chargers.
Chargers. I would want the Raiders to win though.
Yeah, I mean that's one of them unsaid things. I don't, but you know, we do want the Bears to get a higher pick other than 9. Will it happen? We'll see. But yeah, man, Chargers should win this going away.
Yeah, Chargers do have a
Now
shot.
let's talk about this. Is their playoff positioning going to improve with a win?
Yeah, so right now, Chargers and Steelers have the same record and the same division and conference record.
And the Steelers are currently 5th.
Yep.
So if the Bengals beat the
The
Steelers
Steelers, they dropped to
and the
6th.
Chargers win,
Win. They go
Chargers
to 5th,
Chargers come up to 5th
which
and
means they would
play.
play Houston.
They would play Houston. Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Of course, it wouldn't be nice for Tomlin.
Yeah. Because he would have to go to they would have to play
Baltimore
Baltimore in Baltimore again.
have to go to Baltimore.
After Baltimore killed them in Baltimore.
Yes.
And then whoever Denver plays, Denver or Cincinnati or Miami, they have to go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, oh, this is gonna be so good.
Denver now Denver can go to Buffalo and be highly competitive. It can be, you know. But would they win? No, 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 no. But honestly, and I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this on out there. This is Buffalo's championship to win or lose.
Yeah, like many other
That's
times we've
just
had, just like many other previous years we
no.
said.
I never really thought Buffalo had what it take to beat Kansas City, even with all the doggone games that they've had. As
Not
long
even
as
last year
Patrick
when they had
Mahomes
home
was
field
on that
advantage.
field. Mm-mm. Nope.
Wow,
Mm-mm. Nope.
it's always make or
I
break
think
for me for Buffalo. They're always a good regular season team. They can't get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think this year is different with the way they've been playing. It's just totally different.
We say
I
that every year,
mean, they
though.
cleaned house.
We said that last
They
year.
cleaned, but see, they cleaned house this year.
Okay.
They got rid of a few players that, you know, in the end, they screwed up the chemistry in the locker room after these big losses. Stephon Diggs. So I think now that he gone, I just think that they are in a better place, from a locker room standpoint, then you get rid of all those malcontents. Because once they're gone, man, and the locker room is thriving, yeah, you'll thrive on the field too. This is Buffalo's championship to win or lose this year.
Yeah. Bay of Pigs, 49ers at Cardinals.
Oh, geez. I really wouldn't call it a Bay of Pigs, but this will probably be, the swan song for you know, 49ers coach.
Really? You think he's going to let go after next year?
I can't see it. Um, I think they've gone as far as they can go. And I'm not saying rebuild, but I just honestly think with the injuries and I mean the loss, I think a lot of this is just finally starting to pile up, and Shanahan is just going to get the brunt of it.
Yeah. Hey, then if he comes available, Bears better pay him. Pay him.
Well, if they can't get Johnson, If they can't get Johnson, I honestly, believe it or not, I would much rather, if I'm choosing between Shanahan and Johnson, I'd much rather go with the proven commodity.
Yeah.
At least he's been to a couple Super Bowls.
Yeah. And obviously the biggest probably game of the year, right at this point, to the Super Bowl.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
Vikings at Detroit.
Oh yeah, that game. Oh yeah, dude. Uh, ooh, ooh. I'm gonna go Minnesota.
I was gonna go Minnesota too.
I'm gonna go Minnesota. Detroit is beat up.
Yeah.
Detroit is beat up, and they still haven't played San Francisco yet. So, as far as the injury report can get greater
Yeah.
for Detroit. So, but right now, Minnesota is the healthier team. So I'm gonna go Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota. They lost Carlton Davis for the season. They don't got
Yep.
Aleem McNeil. They don't have David Montgomery.
No Montgomery.
You know, it's simple. They got to
And,
keep.
and now the running back room is still pretty good in
Yeah.
Detroit. It's still pretty good in Detroit. But at the same time, though, I mean, Montgomery is a difference maker, especially when you get in the red zone.
Yeah. So those are our picks. We got very hyped games going into the new year, especially the playoffs. Next week we'll be back for our playoff, obviously predictions. We'll talk Bears, Packers.
We're,
Bears.
we're actually gonna talk there. What's there to talk about? They're gonna lose.
Well, it can be a whole season recap right then and there.
Oh, see, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really the recap. Okay, all right, here. Let's go ahead and recap everything. The Bears lost 11 games in a row.
Yeah. That's the thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make another video talking about Ryan Poles potentially staying on. That's gonna be by myself, but yeah, because I know you want to go to
I
sleep.
think McCaskey heard all of those whispers. That was really started by yours truly over here. I was saying, what, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, that hey man, if Warren's gonna do this, he gotta fire Poles.
Adam Schefter, my expectation is Ryan Poles is going to be there. There's always a surprise that could happen, but I expect him to be there in Chicago.
Correct. Because again, I mean, if you really think about it, is Warren truly his boss?
All right, guys, we got it here. Catch you guys in this video. Till then, have a happy new year and enjoy college football. Till then, guys, see you next week.
Oregon's gonna beat Oregon's gonna lose to Ohio State.